Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Mattel Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yep, you heard that right. Mattel actually produced a line of action figures based on Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. These were released in 1990 to coincide with the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes cartoon series, which of course was based off of the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes movies, which were kind of like spoof movies of those old horror flicks. Yeah, man, there was a lot of really weird stuff back in the 80s and early 90s, and somehow that got a cartoon series, and in turn, somehow got this toy line here. But I'm actually really happy that it did, because these toys, while wacky, are pretty fun. In fact, I love them for their wacky nature. So let's check these guys out. I've got a few of the samplings here from this particular lineup. There was a whole line of these guys released, and basically they came with one tomato and one human minifigure that went along with them. Now, what I've got here is Igor versus the Fangmato. And on the left, I actually have the Mummato, which is a mummy tomato, and then I've got Ranger Woody along with him. Now, it is worth noting that Ranger Woody didn't actually come with Mummato. It was supposed to be Fireman Hoser, but the way I got the lot, this is the way they came. I'm not complaining, though. I've got two minifigures and two tomatoes, and we're going to check these guys out because these things are just so incredibly wacky. So first and foremost, they all came with these little aforementioned human PVC figures, which are based on the characters in that cartoon series, and they're just static, they don't move. You can see Ranger Woody, I guess it's an axe that he's holding, that's what I assume. Like he's ready to brave a fight with the Killer Tomatoes. And then Igor here is just not happy. He looks like he's about to wet his pants. I love the stance that he's in. But these are standard minifigure size, actually. Maybe a little bit bigger, but they're probably about 2 inches tall. Really cool looking little guys here. But what's great is because they make great food for your Killer Tomatoes. Now, the Killer Tomatoes are really, really cool. The gimmicky thing, of course, was that every single one of the tomatoes had a different name and gimmick. Like what I've got here is Fangmato, who is obviously meant to look like a snake. You can see he's kind of green and red. Great, cool little paint deco where it's faded there. And he's got all the little scales in the front. He's got the snake-like fangs, the snake-like eyes. And then Mummato, who is even cooler, is a mummified tomato. Look at that. I love the sculpting on these guys. It's cool because even like he's a mummy, so like the tomato underneath is all wrinkly. I love that. And he's got the bandages on him there and crazy eyes, the mummified teeth. You know, he's got a bunch of teeth missing. And what's fun about these guys, you squeeze them, the mouths open up. So like I said, perfect for just munching on these guys. That's the way I always play with these. Yes, I actually had some of these as a kid. It's one of those wacky toy lines I picked up as a kid at a dollar store, crazy enough. I remember these things. It's probably safe to say these didn't last in stores for very long because they're just so goofy, and I mean, really, it's just a really wacky idea. And they did end up in dollar stores, at least in my area, and I remember that's when I picked them up, was at the dollar store. And I always thought they were really cool, you know, I just always used them to kind of munch on the little human figures and had fun playing with them. And honestly, if you're a fan of like Mad Balls, these guys are very relatable to Mad Balls. In fact, people mistake these for Mad Balls all the time. I constantly see even people kind of listing them as such, or they're in a lot with Mad Balls online. They get mistaken for Mad Balls a lot, but it is its own line, and it did receive several other different Killer Tomato sets there. I think there was around 10 different sets released, all of them with their own little minifigures, really cool looking little guys. So if you're just looking for some kind of wacky, you know, monster type toy to add to your collection, or you're a Mad Balls fan, or even a minifigure fan, these guys are actually a lot of fun, and they're definitely worth checking out in my opinion. So there you go, guys. A look at Mattel's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes toy line. Happy haunting, and until next time.